The Empire celebrated quietly at first. The hostile fleet had retreated. Their threat diminished thanks to Ethan's strategies. Soldiers returned to their posts, engineers repaired damaged ships, and advisors whispered in amazement about the human who had turned the tide of battle. Leora walked through the palace halls, her heart swelling with pride. Every glance from the court reminded her that the human she had met on Alera 9 was no longer just a visitor. He had become someone the Empire could not ignore. Ethan, for his part, remained calm. He had faced danger before, in worlds where survival was never guaranteed. The palace, its politics, and its traditions were different, but he approached them like any challenge, with observation, patience, and careful action. The Queen summoned him to her chambers. Leora followed, knowing this was an important moment. The chamber was quiet, adorned with tapestries depicting generations of rulers. The Queen's eyes, sharp and assessing, studied Ethan carefully. "You have done something remarkable," the Queen said slowly. "No human has ever influenced the Empire in such a way. Your intelligence, your courage, your ability to lead, it is undeniable." Ethan bowed slightly. "I only did what seemed necessary to protect your people. They executed the plans. I merely suggested them." The Queen regarded him silently for a moment, then nodded. "You have earned respect that many would never grant. And yet, the court will not easily accept this. You must remain vigilant. Not everyone celebrates your success." "I understand," Ethan said calmly. "I do not seek favor. I only wish to do what is right." Word of his achievements spread quickly. The court could no longer deny the truth. Humans were capable, clever, and brave. Whispers of doubt transformed into quiet conversations of respect. Generals, once skeptical, now approached Ethan with questions seeking guidance and advice. Leora watched with a mixture of pride and relief. The human she had come to admire had become a hero, not by force but by intellect, strategy, and courage. She had always believed in him, and now the Empire itself was beginning to see what she had known from the start. Despite the recognition, tradition remained a formidable barrier. The Empire had never allowed marriage between royalty and humans. Some courtiers still frowned, whispering that Leora's fascination could lead to scandal. The Queen herself, though impressed, was cautious. One evening, Leora found herself alone with Ethan in the palace gardens. The moonlight reflected on the fountains, casting soft shadows across the marble paths. "You have changed the Empire," she said softly. "They respect you now. But marriage is another matter. Tradition does not allow it." Ethan looked thoughtful. "I understand. I never expected to change customs. I only wanted to help. The rest will follow if people see value in humans." Leora smiled, taking his hand. "You have already shown them what I saw from the start. But there is more to us than just recognition. There is something I feel, something I cannot ignore." He squeezed her hand gently. "I feel it too. I did not expect to, but I cannot deny it." The Queen observed them quietly from a distance, understanding the bond forming between her daughter and the human. She had always feared scandal, but she could not ignore Ethan's courage, intelligence, and integrity. Perhaps it was time to reconsider what truly mattered for the Empire. The next day, a formal audience was held. The court gathered, curious to witness the interactions between the princess and the human hero. Leora stepped forward boldly. "Members of the court," she began, her voice clear and confident. "You have seen the abilities and courage of this human. You have seen how he has helped our empire survive a great threat. He has proven his worth not by rank or heritage, but by action, intelligence, and heart." Whispers filled the room, some in disbelief, some in admiration. Leora continued, "I do not ask you to change tradition overnight, but I ask you to see him as he is, not as what he is supposed to be. He is a human, and he is extraordinary." Ethan stepped forward, his calm presence commanding attention. "I do not seek titles, influence, or favor," he said. "I seek only to help, to survive, and to honor those who trust me. That is all." The court fell silent. Even the most stubborn advisors could not deny the truth. The evidence of his courage, intelligence, and leadership was undeniable. Slowly, murmurs of agreement spread. The Empire could not ignore him any longer. Finally, the Queen spoke, her voice firm but warm. Princess Leora has always had a keen eye for truth. This human has proven what she believed. He has earned respect, and in my eyes, he has earned the right to be recognized for his deeds. Let this be a lesson to all. Courage, intelligence, and loyalty are not limited by species. The court bowed, acknowledging both Ethan's achievements and Leora's judgment. Some whispered apologies for doubting him. Others began to see humans in a new light. Leora felt a wave of pride and relief. Later, in the privacy of the gardens, Leora turned to Ethan. "You have changed everything," she said softly. "The Empire respects you. They cannot deny your courage. But, will they ever accept us?" Ethan smiled gently. "Perhaps not immediately, but they have started to see what you saw all along, and that is enough for now. We will face the rest together." She looked up at him, her heart full. "Then I know what I must do. I cannot ignore what I feel. No tradition, no rule, no whisper in the court can stop me from being with you." Ethan's eyes met hers, calm and steady. "And I will stand with you, no matter the challenge." In that moment, they understood each other fully. Recognition from the court was one thing, but true acceptance from themselves and from each other was something far greater. The Empire had survived the threat, and humans had earned respect. But the greatest challenge still lay ahead, the choice of the heart, and Leora knew she would face it without fear. The Empire had changed. The halls of the palace, once filled with whispers of doubt, now echoed with cautious admiration. Humans, once dismissed as weak and fragile, were being seen in a new light. And at the heart of this change stood Ethan, the human who had shown courage, intelligence, and loyalty beyond what anyone had imagined. Princess Leora stood at the balcony of her chambers, gazing at the city below. The golden towers sparkled in the early morning light, but her thoughts were elsewhere. She thought of the frontier, the human settlement on Alera 9, and the man who had captivated her heart. Every trial, every challenge, every moment had led her here. And now, the question was no longer whether humans could be respected. It was whether love could transcend tradition. The Queen entered quietly, her steps soft against the marble floor. "Leora," she said, her voice calm but carrying the weight. "Of centuries you have shown wisdom, courage, and judgment. You have defended what you believe, and in doing so you have changed the Empire's view of humans. But the question remains, what do you wish for yourself?" Leora turned, her eyes steady. "I have made my choice, Mother. It is not a decision made lightly, but it is what I feel in my heart. I cannot deny it." The Queen studied her daughter for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. "I trust you, as I always have, and I see that this human, Ethan, is deserving of your trust. You may have your way, and I will not oppose it. But remember, the court may take longer to accept what you have decided." "I understand," Leora said, her voice firm. "But I am ready, and he is worthy." Ethan arrived at the palace later that day. Leora greeted him in the gardens, where fountains sparkled in the sunlight and the scent of flowers filled the air. The court had gathered curious and wary, but many eyes were filled with respect rather than doubt. "You have changed everything," Leora said softly, taking his hand. "The Empire respects you, even if some are slow to admit it." Ethan looked around at the assembly, then back at her. "I did what I could. The rest is your doing. You saw me for who I am and believed in me. That made the difference." Leora smiled. "And now, it is my turn to show what I believe." The Queen stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "Members of the court," she said, her voice strong. "The princess has made her decision. She has chosen to honor the human who has shown courage, wisdom, and loyalty beyond expectation. He has earned respect, not through rank or birth, but through deeds. Let this union be recognized not as a challenge to tradition, but as a testament to what true merit looks like. A hush fell over the court. Some members exchanged uncertain glances. Some nodded slowly, acknowledging the truth. The whispers of doubt faded, replaced by quiet murmurs of approval. Leora turned to Ethan, her eyes bright. "Do you accept?" she asked. Ethan smiled, calm and confident as ever. "I do," he said simply. "I accept, and I will stand by you, no matter what comes next." The ceremony was unlike any the Empire had ever seen. Traditional rituals were observed, but new elements were introduced to honor both alien and human customs. Leora and Ethan stood side by side, hands joined, hearts aligned. As the final words were spoken, the Queen looked at her daughter and asked, quietly, "Who is he?" Leora smiled, her eyes filled with pride and love. "The human I wed," she said. The assembly fell silent for a moment, then erupted in applause. Even those who had doubted could not deny the truth. Ethan was extraordinary. Humanity had earned its place in the Empire, not through force, but through ingenuity, courage, and heart. And the princess, by choosing him, had shown that love and wisdom could transcend even the oldest traditions. In the days that followed King T, the human fleet floated silently in orbit around the planet Ardonia. Ships of all sizes formed a protective ring, their metal hulls gleaming under the twin suns. Jaren stood on the bridge of one of the larger vessels, his eyes scanning the holographic displays. He was no longer the frightened orphan hiding from danger. He had grown into a capable young man, strong and confident, shaped by years of learning under Lyra's guidance. Yet, despite all he had learned from the princess, he had never forgotten who he was, a human, a survivor, and someone who had lost everything to the alien raiders that had destroyed his colony. That memory burned inside him like a quiet fire, driving him toward a purpose beyond just survival. Jaren had joined the human rebellion several months ago. The rebellion was small, but determined, composed of humans who refused to live under alien rule. His intelligence, courage, and unique experience quickly made him stand out. He could analyze strategies, predict enemy movements, and inspire others to follow him. Some whispered that he had an almost impossible calm in the face of danger. Today was a test of all he had learned. The humans had received intelligence of an alien supply convoy passing near Ardonia. Capturing it could turn the tide in several ongoing battles. Jaren's assignment was clear: lead a small strike team, intercept the convoy, and return without alerting the main alien fleet. As he briefed his team, he felt the weight of responsibility, but not fear. "Stay calm," he said, his voice steady. "We act quickly, strike smart, and get out before they know we are there. Follow my lead, and we will succeed." The team nodded. They trusted him, not just because of his skill, but because of the confidence that radiated from him. They knew he had survived impossible odds before. Now he would guide them through this mission. The small human ships moved quietly through the asteroid field, using its shadows to hide their approach. Jaren's mind worked quickly, calculating trajectories, possible enemy responses, and escape routes. Every decision mattered. Every second counted. Suddenly, the convoy appeared on the sensors. It was heavily guarded, but Jaren had anticipated their route. He directed the team to split into two groups, flanking the convoy while he approached from the front. His plan relied on timing and precision. The battle began in silence. One of the alien ships spotted them too early, opening fire. Jaren acted instantly, guiding his ship to a safe position while directing his team to disable the convoy's engines. Within minutes, the convoy was immobilized, and the humans boarded the supply vessels. Jaren moved like a shadow, precise and deliberate. His heart raced, but his mind remained clear. He remembered Lyra's lessons: observe first, act with thought, and protect those who rely on you. He coordinated every movement, giving orders that saved lives and secured the supplies. When the last alien ship tried to retaliate, Jaren anticipated its movement, directing his team to counterattack with minimum risk. The aliens, frustrated and confused by the humans' clever tactics, eventually retreated. Jaren's strategy had worked perfectly. After the mission, the human fleet celebrated quietly. Supplies were secured and casualties were minimal. Leaders of the rebellion approached him with nods of respect. "You did well, Jaren," one said. "We've never seen a young human handle a mission like that." Jaren allowed himself a small smile. He didn't seek praise, but he felt a quiet satisfaction. This was proof that he could make a difference, that his years of learning with Lyra had prepared him for this moment. But even in this victory, a small thought lingered in his mind. Lyra. He wondered how she would view his actions. Would she be proud? Would she see that the child she had rescued so long ago had grown into someone who could face the universe with courage and skill? He didn't have to wait long. During a routine communication check, a message came through from an unknown source. The emblem was unfamiliar, alien, but elegant, a symbol he recognized from his time with Lyra. He opened the message, and a familiar voice spoke. "Jaren," said Lyra, her tone calm but filled with warmth. "I have been watching you. You have grown beyond what I imagined. You have become remarkable." Jaren's breath caught. Her voice, soft, wise, and gentle, filled him with a mixture of surprise and joy. "Princess Lyra, thank you. I am trying to do what you taught me." "Indeed," she replied. "But remember, courage is not just about facing enemies. It is about understanding your people, your choices, and the consequences of your actions. You are learning well, but the galaxy is not yet done testing you." Jaren felt a surge of determination. He wanted to prove himself not just to her, but to every human who had suffered under oppression. "I will continue," he said firmly. "I will protect our people and make sure no one else suffers like I did." Lyra's voice softened. "I know you will. And one day, Jaren, one day you may even surpass the expectations of both humans and aliens. But for now, focus on your people. Help them survive, help them grow, and guide them wisely. That is your task." The communication ended, leaving Jaren staring at the console. Her words resonated deeply within him. He realized that his journey was only beginning. Being a hero was not about glory or recognition. It was about responsibility, courage, and the ability to make choices that mattered. Over the next weeks, Jaren led several missions. Each time, his reputation grew. Humans admired his intelligence and bravery, while some alien factions began to notice the young human who moved with such skill and precision. Jaren understood that the galaxy was watching, and he felt ready for whatever challenges might come. Yet in quiet moments, he still remembered the child he once was, the orphan who ran through the burning colony of Varelia 7, scared and alone. He knew that without Lyra's kindness, he might never have survived. Her decision to save him had changed everything. And now, as he stood among his people, leading them toward hope and freedom, he carried her lessons with him. Jaren had become a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and courage. The galaxy had begun to take notice of this young human who refused to be defeated. And somewhere, watching from afar, the princess who had once saved him smiled quietly, knowing that the child she had rescued had grown into the hero she always believed he could become. Word count 950. The galaxy was changing. The whispers of rebellion had grown into a chorus of defiance. Humans, once scattered and hunted, were now organized, bold, and united under leaders who inspired hope. Among them, one name echoed quietly but powerfully: Jaren. He had grown taller, stronger, and wiser than most of his peers. His eyes held the calm of someone who had seen danger and learned to control it. His decisions, once hesitant, were now swift and precise. Every mission he led brought victory with minimal loss, earning him respect among soldiers and civilians alike. Today, the Council of Human Leaders gathered on the neutral station of Valter 3. The air was tense, filled with anticipation. A report had come in about an imminent attack from a powerful alien fleet, aiming to crush human resistance on a key planet. It was a crucial moment, and all eyes turned to Jaren. He stood at the center of the council room, analyzing star maps, fleet positions, and enemy movements. Every choice mattered. Every second counted. He had spent months preparing for such a moment, but now the responsibility felt heavier than ever. "Your plan, Jaren?" asked Admiral Kale, a veteran of countless battles. His voice was deep, calm, but filled with a quiet intensity. Jaren pointed to the holographic map. "We cannot face them head-on. The enemy has superior numbers and firepower, but we can use their arrogance against them. We will lure the lead fleet into a trap near the asteroid belt, where our smaller ships can strike from multiple angles. We focus on disabling their engines first, then we isolate the command vessel. Timing and coordination will be critical." The council murmured in approval. It was bold, it was risky, and it was exactly the type of strategy that had made Jaren so respected. When the fleet assembled, Jaren took his position aboard the flagship. He walked among the crew, checking systems, speaking with pilots, and offering encouragement. His presence calmed the nervous, inspired the hesitant, and reminded everyone why he was trusted. As the humans moved into position near the asteroid belt, the alien fleet appeared on the horizon. Their ships glinted ominously under the distant stars, massive and menacing. The moment of confrontation had arrived. Jaren's mind worked like a machine, calculating trajectories, enemy responses, and timing each maneuver. The first strike came, a volley of energy blasts aimed at smaller human vessels. But Jaren anticipated it. He directed evasive maneuvers and counterattacks that disrupted the enemy formation. The battle raged. Explosions lit the void, and the hum of engines and weaponry filled the air. Yet Jaren remained calm. His team followed his commands perfectly, moving like extensions of his mind. Each human ship struck with precision, turning the enemy's strength into weakness. Then came the critical moment. The enemy command vessel tried to retreat, hoping to regroup. Jaren acted immediately. He directed a coordinated strike from multiple angles, disabling their engines and cutting off escape routes. The alien fleet, now confused and divided, had no choice but to retreat in disorder. Cheers erupted aboard the human ships. The victory was decisive, but more than that, it was symbolic. A young human had outsmarted a superior alien fleet, proving that courage, intelligence, and determination. The ceremonial hall aboard the human flagship was vast, filled with the hum of advanced machinery and the soft chatter of dignitaries. Humans and allied aliens alike gathered for a special council, a rare meeting to celebrate recent victories and discuss the future. But Jaren's mind was elsewhere. He could feel it before he even saw her, a presence that was familiar yet impossible to forget. He had received intelligence that Lyra, the alien princess who had once saved him, would be present as a representative of her people. Jaren's heart raced. He had grown from a scared orphan into a capable hero, yet the thought of meeting her again brought a mix of excitement, anxiety, and something deeper he could not name. The hall doors opened, and she walked in. Lyra moved with grace and authority, her robes flowing, her presence commanding attention without demanding it. Time had changed her, as it had changed Jaren, but her eyes, the same deep, thoughtful eyes that had once watched over him, were instantly recognizable. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Recognition passed silently between them. Jaren took a step forward, his chest tight with emotion. Memories of running through the burning colony, of the fear he had felt, of her hand pulling him to safety, flooded back. Lyra's expression softened as she saw the young man before her, confident and composed, yet with the same spark of curiosity she had once admired in the boy. "Jaren," she said softly, her voice carrying across the quiet hall. "Princess." "Lyra?" he replied, bowing slightly out of respect, though his voice trembled just enough to betray his emotions. I never imagined I would see you here," she smiled gently. "Nor I, you. You have grown so much. The boy I saved has become a man, and a hero." The words were simple, yet they carried a weight that made Jaren's heart swell. He wanted to speak, to tell her how much he owed her, how her kindness had changed his life. But the formality of the council and the attention of others kept him silent. Before either of them could speak further, alarms rang throughout the flagship. Red lights flashed and automated warnings filled the hall. A sudden attack, unexpected and dangerous, was underway. A rogue alien fleet had slipped past defenses, aiming for the council itself. Jaren's instincts kicked in immediately. He glanced at Lyra. "Stay close to me," he said firmly. "We need to protect everyone." Lyra nodded, her calm presence steadying him. Despite the shock of the attack, she moved with precision, guiding her people and assisting in defense protocols. Jaren's team sprang into action following his commands. Together, they coordinated countermeasures, directing defensive turrets, activating shields, and ensuring the safety of council members. The battle raged for tense minutes. Laser fire lit the void outside the viewports, and debris from damaged ships floated silently past the windows. Yet Jaren remained focused, his mind calculating every possibility, anticipating enemy moves. Lyra fought alongside him, her knowledge of alien technology complementing his human ingenuity. At one point, a rogue ship broke through defenses, heading straight for the hall where leaders were gathered. Without hesitation, Jaren and Lyra acted, in perfect unison. Jaren diverted the ship's trajectory while Lyra's energy pulse disabled its engines. The ship spun harmlessly into the void, neutralized before it could cause harm. When the final enemy vessel retreated, silence returned. The council members, shaken but safe, looked around in awe at the young human and the alien princess who had saved them. Jaren's heart pounded as he turned to Lyra, breathless. You are amazing," he said, the words finally escaping. "I learned from you all those years ago, but fighting with you now, it's incredible." Lyra shook her head, her eyes shining. "No, Jaren. You have always been amazing. You acted with courage and intelligence. I only guided you. The hero standing before me is entirely your own doing." For a moment, they simply stood there looking at each other. The chaos of battle, the weight of responsibilities, and the distance of years collapsed into a single, quiet connection. The princess who had once saved a frightened boy now stood beside a man she could be proud of. The boy who had survived, against all odds, now stood as a hero recognized by humans and aliens alike. "Do you remember that day?" Lyra asked softly. "The day I found you among the ruins of Virelia 7? Jaren nodded, eyes misty. "I remember everything. I remember your hand, your voice, your belief in me. That day changed my life. I would not be here without you." Lyra's smile deepened, filled with both pride and a quiet affection. "And yet, look at what you've become. I could not have imagined a better outcome. The boy I saved has become someone the galaxy will never forget." Jaren felt a surge of gratitude and admiration. "And I will never forget you, princess, not just for saving me, but for teaching me what it means to be brave, to care, and to fight for something greater than myself." They shared a quiet moment of understanding, their bond stronger than ever, though now built on years of growth, courage, and mutual respect. Around them, the council resumed its duties, the crisis averted. But Jaren and Lyra's reunion had become the unspoken heart of the room. As the stars outside the hall glimmered, Jaren realized that this reunion was more than just a meeting. It was a reminder that hope, kindness, and courage could endure across time, distance, and even war. The princess who had once rescued him had returned to witness the hero he had become. And together, they would face whatever challenges the galaxy still held. For Jaren, the journey had brought him full circle. From orphan to hero, from fear to courage, from uncertainty to purpose. And in Lyra's eyes, he saw the reflection of everything he had become. The human who had survived, learned, and finally stood proudly among the stars. The stars stretched endlessly before them, calm and steady after the storm of battles that had rocked the galaxy. Jaren stood on the bridge of the flagship, looking out at the quiet expanse of space. The once feared human rebellion had become a symbol of hope, not only for humans but for allied species who longed for peace and fairness. Lyra stood beside him, her presence a quiet reassurance. The alien princess had witnessed the boy she once saved transform into a man who could lead fleets, inspire soldiers, and shape the future. Now, side by side, they were more than teacher and student. They were partners in a galaxy that desperately needed guidance. "Jaren," Lyra said softly, her voice carrying across the bridge. "The humans and our people both face choices that will decide the fate of many worlds. The galaxy is changing faster than anyone can predict." Jaren nodded. "I understand, but I've learned from you that courage and careful thought can make a difference. Together we can guide our people and prevent more destruction." Lyra smiled. "Indeed, and you have done more than I ever imagined. Your bravery has inspired both humans and aliens. You have shown that one determined heart can change the course of history." Their attention shifted as a communication signal blinked on the console. It was from the leaders of the Allied fleet, calling them to a joint strategy session. The Council had been impressed by Jaren's recent victories and wanted to ensure that humans and allied species worked together to maintain stability. As they entered the Council chamber, Jaren noticed the subtle glances of respect from humans and aliens alike. They did not see a young orphan who had fled a burning colony. They saw a hero, a strategist, and a symbol of unity. The Council debated plans for rebuilding war-torn systems, protecting vulnerable colonies, and establishing stronger cooperation between species. Jaren listened carefully, offering insights, learned from both human experience and his time with Lyra. His ideas were practical, thoughtful, and most importantly, humane. Lyra watched him quietly. She was proud, not just because he had grown into a capable leader, but because he had retained the qualities that had made her rescue him in the first place: compassion, determination, and a sense of responsibility that transcended fear. After hours of discussion, a plan was agreed upon. Human colonies and allied worlds would establish joint defense networks, share resources, and create training programs for young leaders. Jaren would oversee many of these initiatives, ensuring that the lessons of survival, courage, and strategy spread throughout the galaxy. Later, as the Council dispersed, Jaren and Lyra walked through the observation deck. The stars reflected in the glass walls, endless and full of possibilities. "You have become extraordinary," Lyra said quietly. "I always knew you had potential, but seeing it realized, it is beyond anything I imagined." Jaren looked at her, a mixture of gratitude and awe in his eyes. "I could not have done this without you, Lyra. You saved me once, taught me, guided me, and I've carried everything you taught me into every choice I've made." Lyra shook her head gently. "You made the choices, Jaren. I only gave you a start. The hero you've become is entirely your own doing. And now, together, we can ensure that the galaxy has a future worth living for." For the first time, Jaren felt the full weight of what they had accomplished. He remembered the terrified boy running through the ruins of Virelia 7, and he realized how far he had come. He had transformed fear into courage, despair into hope, and survival into heroism. And he had done it not alone, but with someone who believed in him when no one else did. Days passed, and the Allied fleet worked tirelessly to rebuild and strengthen ties between worlds. Jaren led missions to Lyra often, accompanied him, Herc,